Hello and welcome to this third session of the Veil iterations. This is a quarterly series, and we're kind of play testing some variations on the Veil. We've done some mechanical changes to that, which you may hear us discussing. We've made some changes last time, and today we're going to be checking in on ideas at the start about our characters' entanglements and our characters' drives and questions and those kinds of things. So we'll be checking in with everyone about those things. We'll also be checking, I don't know where everyone is in terms of XP, but it takes 5 XP to get an advance. What the standard advances right now are taking a move from your own playbook, taking a move from another playbook, raising up as one of your states by +1. Once you hit 5 advances, there's some other things that open up, including some specially dedicated ones. But we'll be checking on that. I'll be going through how that is. I haven't leaned too much into getting those details done. So I'm going to look through the sheet. I'm actually going to start with Tyler because I see that Tyler has written in some things here. So I do want to start. So Tyler, tell us what your entanglement is. Again, so it's a relationship with one person that's complicated by a second person. So who is that? What is that?
Right. It's Claudio's daughter, who I grew up with, and he is the man who killed my father, buried my mother, and took over our business.
Okay, so
I haven't come up with a name for her yet.
You're not going to just go with Ophelia?
I'm not. I thought about playing around with that, but I did not.
Okay. That sounds good. So dealing with her, dealing with Claudio, these are all charged moments for you, and that kind of does lead us into your drive.
Right, to ruin the. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
To ruin the man who killed my father and took over our family business. I will get you.
Okay. And then lastly, what is your question?
Is it better to climb my way up the guild, or should I find a way to strike out on my own?
I like it. It makes certain assumptions about progress and wealth being inherently good for you. It's just a matter of
That's a given.
Well, yeah, of ambition. That seems fair.
Cool.
I like that.
I did go up an advancement.
Okay, what are you thinking about taking?
I have taken strategize. When you scrutinize the plan ahead with your allies, something I love doing, I roll. And I get hold based on how I rolled. If I miss, I'll get 1, but if someone's alerted to my plans, then I spend them for things. +1 forward, produce a piece of necessary equipment, prevent 2 harm, or find something worth 1 capital.
That's a nice one.
Mm-hmm. And I want to ask just real quick on XP's. I don't know if it's going to be coming up anything time soon, but when you pick up an increase to state, are you doing one of those weird up to 2, up to 3, and splitting out how many of those are, or are you not?
My rule for that is you can raise each state once.
Each state once.
Yeah,
cool.
That's each one can be raised up once. So there will always be one that's a little bit of a deficit, but that's how that's going to work.
Okay, I like that. Cool.
And let me write that down. Make sure I've got that detailed in the rules notes. Patrick, tell us about what you've chosen for riddle.
So let's see. I have something chosen out for these, and for the drive-in question, I do want to check in because I always have this like nagging doubt of like, are these actually playable things? Will this help me? But for an entanglement, I have an NPC, Genji Loop, who's the only one I can go to for advice or repair about my cyberbrain and immersion suit setup. But they think null is a dangerous mistake. Again, and I went with I have a picture for them in the NPCs. And I went with a sort of like cyberpunk look. So I want to clarify that it's not like Genji doesn't think that null is immoral, wrong, bad spiritually. I think they've seen something like this happen before, and it was horrible, and people died, and it was very destructive. And I think they're afraid that null is going to be the start of something that spreads.
Interesting. And maybe the worry is not a global one, but even particularly for you. Okay. I think that works. And tell me about this drive.
So my drive, acquire or create a next gen immersion suit, which sort of ties in a little bit with the questions, but I think there is like, this immersion suit is super high tech and very advanced, but it is still like interacting with the world through a diving suit. It's got all of the VR and augmented reality stuff, but there is still an element of like, I am living in my own bubble and the world exists across a membrane. And I think there are like heard rumors or like design dreams sort of talk of like suits that integrate in with the skin and like tie your nervous system into the structure of the suit itself so that it's as much like wearing nothing. But he wants to find one and steal one, or find a way to design and make one. I'm not quite sure what that is, but that's his dream. That's what he wants.
One of the interesting things that 7th Sea does is, for things like this, which are kind of a clear, like a project, they actually have you kind of build a clock and lay out what the steps are. So you might think about that, like maybe think if this were a 6-segment clock, what would be the kind of the steps here? Find out information, steal this, get this module, that kind of thing, get somebody to put it together, that you might imagine that. And then we have something kind of concrete to kind of tie to your drive, maybe.
Cool. Okay. I will think on that.
And then, yeah.
And then my question is again, it's sort of like, I never quite know how to word things, so it's sort of centering around these two. But can I touch the world without it touching me? And can I hold people close without letting them in? Like, as much as he wants a better connection with the world, he still wants it through that suit. He is still living in something that is safe to him. Like, this distance is protective for reasons we'll explore or find out or whatever.
Yeah, I like that, especially because that really is the same question worded in two distinct ways. They're not really two different questions. So I like that. There are different complexions on that. So yeah, that seems fair.
Cool.
An issue you might interact with, thing you might think about. Bethany, let me come to you. And if you have one of these parts that you've thought about, or none, if you want to say, let me think about that a little bit more and come back to me later on.
I don't have anything concrete.
Okay.
I kind of have very vague ideas, but nothing.
Okay, well, just think on that, and if something occurs,
Okay,
and we'll check in
Yeah.
again at the end, and make sure on that. Patrick, did you get an advance?
Oh, yes, I did.
Okay.
And I picked up a new move for that, the kick, where I can forcefully eject someone or something from a digital environment.
Okay.
And I specifically got it because I need something to spend imagination on.
Nice. And then Marley, did you get an advance?
Yes, and I picked, what was it called? Viaduct.
Okay.
Can use my homeland as a medium to traverse distances. Although now that I'm thinking about it, given that my homeland is an actual place, that's really, yeah, I'm not sure how that works.
Well,
Just have the swamp creep into wherever we're at.
That's true. The swamp could just appear.
right.
Exactly.
And this can be as parent. One of the things about the wayward is you have the right to kind of add more unusual, psychic, paranormal, supernatural aspects to this. So feel free to go big with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hellerton,
Yes.
let me come to you. Have you thought about?
Yes, I even wrote mine out. Though if there's some place I'm supposed to write them, I didn't put them there.
That would be AX21.
X21. Nope, I put them at, I don't know. I put them somewhere else. So here's where I put them. I put them on my sheet under my special. But anyway, so my entanglement, I thought that my AI, I'm a med AI who again will obsolesce like I would, is convinced that Marley might be the answer for how they might live past the reach of the corp. And not be taken away, and also said that Marley is quote unquote a fail safe for me, maybe. Mind you, revision LA8 refuses to spell things right, so I never know what they really mean because they
So
fail F-A-L-E.
Yeah. So that's your relationship to that figure.
Yes.
Who's the other person involved with this that complicates that?
Okay, so I should say something else. Okay, so I will say,
And do you want to, if you want to think about that, you can say that's cool too.
yeah, I like that. How about that there's someone stalking Marley?
Okay.
Okay. That I wouldn't want to like my, like a family member or someone who's also stalking them.
Okay.
So like my little sister, like we were raised in the same family unit, village unit built.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was misreading this. Actually, you do have two people in there.
I do.
I apologize.
But you were like, if you want me to make it more complicated.
No. I was misreading. I'm still getting the names down.
Okay.
So I misread the name there.
Okay.
So I think that's fine. Is that okay with you, Marley?
Yeah. Actually, maybe I can work that into mine.
Okay.
Okay.
I like that. And your drive
is to replace the disease with cybernetics. I like that because the disease is something that can be used then as a hard move for you. It can be something that I'm just paranoid about, but it's just about that drive to keep on adding cybernetics that replace parts of my systems.
This is that syndrome that you originally went and took
exactly.
up this. Okay. And your question?
What is the life that I'm trying to preserve?
Okay.
So,
that seems good. Gabriel Thrawn, you have returned back. You've got actually, Riddle has a body complete. You have a body in pieces, and you have a set of information that Riddle has drawn down for you.
Correct. And as we were kind of leaving, that I think Riddle, you had actually said to me, like, I have one. You had told me that, right?
Yes.
With you would feel comfortable as that being part of the extraction. Can I turn that over to my superiors, or were you planning to hang on to that?
I have no problems with you turning it over, but let's see what you get back to turn over, because I did put it in the veil for safekeeping, and let's see what happens when I pull it back, because that's when I roll for this move.
Yes.
I got you. Okay. So in theory, there's a body in pieces where, oh, Sherry, you don't have your name up. So I know that you have a name, but I should know it, but I don't remember it.
Hellerton.
Heller. That's it. And one that Heller has done a bit of work to harvest out.
Several that Heller did some work on.
Yeah, I'll think we'll grab one. Okay, cool. All right, just to know my positioning there.
Sure.
And so yes, I will be returning back with that information.
Let's start with 2 questions for Riddle. First, Riddle,
Okay.
are you? Let's have you roll to extract this body.
Well, since I went about this in a scientific and controlled and clean method, as opposed to Heller just getting out the chainsaw and going crazy on some bodies, I I feel this is very much
A
power.
particle scalpel is a very precise instrument.
A chain laser. I'm gonna roll with power because obviously this is going to go well.
Okay.
Oh, and my power is a 2, so that's actually a 10.
That is a 10. So what does it look like when we know that we saw you fold it up and put it in? What does it look like when you bring it out of the veil?
I think this one is a similar process in reverse, where he has like that digital icon that he pulls off of a bit of his his form there, his moving sort of animation, and unfolds it over and over again until it's like human-sized digital outline, and that's when like nanoparticles and pieces of the veil begin to flow in and actually take a 3D shape of this thing. And of course he knew it was going to go perfectly, unlike some of those other times that he doesn't talk about, but he does
Right.
still give a breath of held tension when it finally materializes correctly, and it's just sort of perfect, and even smells of the chaos and destruction that was going on around it when he took it in, like that little puff of air that was taken with it.
Almost like it'd been in stasis.
Mm-hmm.
The other question I have for you, Riddle, is this. You've got this information that you've drawn down, super dense data. You're going to hand that data over to Gabriel. My question is, are you making a copy of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be hard not to. It's built on aggressive adware. It wants to be shared and copied.
Okay.
So I don't even really have to try.
Well, I want you to roll risk.
Boo.
This is about how much of a trace you might leave of things.
Oh, well, that's fine. I wouldn't leave any.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the same.
Power?
Yes.
Okay.
Doing it right this time, and oh geez, that's a 13.
Oh yeah, you make a copy. I don't think it's obvious to anybody, and you don't leave any fingerprints on it when you hand the block over to Gabriel. So Gabriel,
and I think it's I hand it over to Gabriel in the form of like whatever a burner phone communicator would be, because I do it by infecting that phone with this very aggressive adware that's full of the information that you need, but you don't want it on anything that you want to use later.
Thank you, Riddle, very, very much.
So Gabriel, like, do you contact your contact from this site? Do you split off from the group to deliver these goods? Like, what is it? What is that like conclusion of this look like, do you think?
As we're the driver, we get out. I will have arranged a safe place. I won't call it a safe house, but it is just a gorgeous little apartment with using my luxury ability there to make sure they have somewhere comfortable to stay. I'll say, I'm going to go and report this in if you don't mind. And then I will return with your payment. And who knows, perhaps our little coterie will prove useful for further jobs. But please enjoy yourself. I have provided the finest of everything. And if there is something that you don't have and you'd like, please just call my assistant.
And Heller, while Gabriel is gone taking care of this, what's your take on this this locale, this place?
I try every combination of soda you can get from the Soda Stream thing. I mix them, I match them. I drink them straight brandy like. I drink them double strength and half strength.
Working hard to get all the caloric value you can out of this. Okay. Is that a thing? Like your like chest and a lot of that has been repurposed, reprocessed. So what is eating to you now?
It's just calories. That's all I need. Does that make any sense? Like nutrition really isn't a thing any longer, because it just gets turned into whatever the rest of my system needs. So it is like, this is sort of amusing and it tastes good. My tongue still works. I haven't replaced it because I'm not sure what all is going to be quite as effective. It's kind of one of those pleasures. And mouth feels nice. That kind of
effervescence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
and Marley, what about for you? What is your take when you're kind of left in this modest but still nice lap of luxury?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think of where we left it. I mean, I think I sneak away.
Okay. I think it's no problem for you to just step out and leave. And where do you head to?
That's an even better question. I think so I was just playing around with my entanglement thing there and there's the person who like sort of helped me and like showed me how to survive in the city is someone called Aura, who is also kind of a terrorist, who is, among other things, trying to destroy the corporation that happens to be keeping Heller alive. Okay. Which is, a small issue there. That'll be my entanglement. Okay. But like, I don't want to destroy the corporation keeping Heller alive until it's, until Heller can live without it. Other than that, I'm fine with destroying the corporation, just not until Heller can live without it. Yeah, so I think that, Aura and I have a shared interest in, destroying things. I don't know if her reasons for wanting to destroy things are the same as mine, but where was I going with this?
Do you want to go and track down Aura?
Yes, I think I'm going to meet up with her because I think like she might have some interest in what we just found.
Okay. What kind of place is this district that you find her in? Is it industrial? Is it entertainment? Is it a living space? Is it construction? Is it mixed purpose? What do you think it is?
It's fairly mixed purpose, but I think I find her in like the partially underground, not completely underground because it would be flooded,
Mhm.
like dive bar, underneath some other business.
Yeah, like I imagine that you kind of have to walk through these big pumping stations, and we kind of hear that in the background. And this is one of those places that's off the grid because it is industrial. The veil does kind of reach down here, but it's noisy, hard to survey, that kind of thing. And you will see Aura there. Why don't you roll Link?
Sure. It would be awesome if this was a super low roll and it's like, oh wow. She has betrayed you already. Don't know how, but how do I feel about this? I don't know. We just like found some really interesting things that were also creepy as hell. But I think it's more interesting than creepy right now that it's over. So I'm gonna go with joy.
Okay.
11.
11. So that's a good standing. Aura is glad to see you. Kind of knows that you're maybe not fully in on the destruction of everything that she has in mind. So she does wave away the person who was speaking with her, and she says, Marley, it's been a little bit.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I just had a really interesting, strange experience.
All right. That seems to be par for the course for you.
This is a different kind of interesting, different kind of strange. So that area where the water is just receded, there's an old biotech lab down there. That seems like a thing you might know about. And
heard there were some things that were down there that were corporate dangers.
Corporate dangers and also kind of living physical dangers. I mean, not just the giant muscles, although those are dangerous, but also those are pretty cool.
Mhm.
These are, well, they're like robotic corpses, I guess is maybe the right term.
And she will stop you and she will say, why don't you start from the beginning? And she will walk you through, like she wants the details. How much, I mean, do you name your companions? Do you name who you were working for? Like, what do you leave out of your regaling?
No,
here?
I leave out the names of other people involved.
Okay.
And like who, other than that, I could tell her like the details, exactly where things were, exactly, what buildings we were in. That's fine. But yeah, the names of other people, like I try not to cross-pollinate that particular information among groups of people I know.
Okay. Let me cut away from that. Gabriel will arrive at the meeting point that has been arranged. That assistant gentleman is there waiting for you.
Yeah, the kind of an androgynous person. Yes.
Yeah. And
I couldn't remember their name.
let me see. Did we put them in the keeper? I don't.
We didn't put him in the character keeper, and that was. I went back and because I even thought I'd gotten there'd been a picture of them, but I couldn't find them. But very sleek, almost androidish looking androgynous they them.
Yeah. I thought I had written it down. I wrote down nonsense. I don't know why I wrote that down. We're going to call him Britter because I think that's a name I have written down. That may be him.
Them.
And he says, very well done, very timely manner. As I understand it, they're going to be flooding the zone here tomorrow.
There was opposition.
But from whom?
Well, and I'll kind of motion to the still form of the thing there. I can only guess the previous occupants knew the area, bioengineered. That would be a working theory, but I cannot say for sure.
He stops and he says, so wait, you're not talking about outsiders. You're saying that this was internal opposition on site?
These were there. They were definitely remote, however. Someone using them as drones.
Interesting. You see him go over, he kind of runs and
There was a strangeness to it. They were inhabited by people who believed they were at a party. I'm not sure how they managed to get them to do work within the facility, unless it was some sort of party game. But I assure you, those who were inhabiting these frames were unaware of where they were.
this is not exactly what we expected. We'll take the full report when you have a chance, but we'll take this material. And were you able to extract data?
Yes, I must warn you, my colleague, and we both understand colleague meaning person hired to help.
Right.
Warned me that it comes off of an adware subroutine. It was the easiest and best obfuscated means to get it. I would start from a dedicated subsystem. So
I'll hand it to the architects. They're also weird. They'll know what to do with it.
Wonderful. I hope that the elders will be pleased.
I am sure they will. I've been authorized to provide you with 2 credits per team member, as well as, and this is meta again, 2 credits for you and a capital.
Ooh, interesting. All right. Thank you very, very much. I would like to say I was very pleased with how this team performed. I might be trying to use them in the future.
That is fine. Certainly that is your discretion. Realize that there's always that worry that the more you use particular personnel, the more they learn about the company and the guild, and eventually they have to be scrubbed.
Understood. I will make sure that the firewall maintains its heat.
Yes. But it seems like they worked decently for you, so that is fine.
Thank you very much.
he has a couple of techs there. They take the drive, they take the bodies, and they will trundle them off.
And if that feels like I'm dismissed,
Yes.
then I will head off to meet my comrades and to pay them.
Riddle, what are you doing while Gabriel is gone?
Why not? I think I want to look into that data package.
Okay.
But I don't want to do it somewhere where it can be traced or get back to Gabriel to let him know that I still have a copy. So I think I'd go visit Genji. I think he has a advanced enough private veil system that I could unpack it there.
Absolutely. So you will also leave. Heller, you are left alone in these facilities. We'll come back to you in a second.
It's fine.
So Riddle, what kind of place is Genji in? Is it a temple? Is it a mall? Is it a park? Like what kind of space do we find ourselves in?
Instead of like, could it be like a prayer server farm?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like instead of prayer wheels or candles or things like that, it's these servers that are constantly running meditations and prayers over and over again for people.
Yeah, generating the names of God, all of the classic things. They're broadcasting prayers up into the cloud, and up
Nice.
into the clouds. Like they are also, broadcasting the prayers out into the ether.
Nice.
And Genji is overseeing some acolytes who are working it's gotten damp and hot, so they're applying new thermal paste to some of the servers, but there's some rituals involved in doing it. And so there's a couple of people but that have to be there making sure that they're using the right if for lack of a better term, the most kosher thermal paste possible. And Genji will see you and will approach Riddle.
Genji, I hope the servers are running.
We are running at full capacity, which is both a blessing and a challenge.
I feel like that says something about the nature of humanity, but I don't really know what.
Perhaps you should think on that.
I have a lot to think on already.
Let's have you roll Link, Riddle, before we go any further.
Sure. Peace feels like a good thing to roll with here. That is an 8.
That is an 8. So you have called on Genji before, and like utilized his services, and he has one obligation on you. He says, I take it you need something.
Well, I don't need necessarily. Well, it's only that, well, your servers are so excellently scrubbed and well maintained. No one has anything like them. So I need something.
And what is it that you require?
I need you to stop staring at me like that with silent judgment. It's all very disconcerting.
I think it is you that reads the judgment in these things. Perhaps if you were to think that I am not judging you, then you would feel better about this.
I need a private encrypted veil server where I can meditate on some information and perhaps ways to not project my own judgments onto other people's faces, even when they're looking very judgy.
It's interesting that you say projection. Yes, you can use the white room. I will send an acolyte with you to unlock that, and you may have some time in there.
I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. He's looking for the acolyte to escape before he can say any sort of cost.
Okay. I think that well, I'm going to put a second obligation on you. You're asking a buddy for a favor here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. We'll come back to that. Heller, let me check in with you before Gabriel returns.
Mhm.
Marley and Riddle have both skedaddled,
Mhm.
leaving you in this location.
Yep. I pretty much just take out the container where I had all of the scrap saved that I had taken from one of those corpses.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably will, clean it up the appropriate way. So, little mix of scrub brush and boiling water or whatever one does to get your cybernetics free from the flesh, if that makes any sense.
Now, had you rolled the scrap roll?
I have
the
not.
scrounge? Let's
Shall I
have you
do
roll
that?
the scrounge roll.
Okay.
We kind of hand wave that you grab some things, but let's now do that scrounge roll
Okay.
as you go through it and see what you got.
Okay. So here's the thing is, I've seen kind of how that stuff was used, so I'm a little trepidatious. It's kind of, how do you say, it might be really useful for me or for my AI friend, and yet it may be really effed up. And this is the problem with cybernetics. You really never know what you're getting.
Right.
Worse than that. So I probably will roll with fear.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm rolling 2d6. I'm going to add 2. So it's a 13.
There's a 13. So you're going to gain 2 scrap. The roller loves all of you, and that is obviously not going to change. It's going to remain that way. Nothing bad can come of this.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you.
So how much scrap do you have now?
I have 4.
Well,
It doesn't even go up that high.
nope. You can only have 3 at a time.
Oh, well, that was why I was, okay. So
Now,
good.
you may, if you wish, immediately spend some of that to get yourself back down below the cap if you want to use junkware.
Yes, I would like to try that.
Okay. How much of the scrap do you want to spend?
Let's do 2.
Okay. Let's have you roll.
Okay. This should be when I roll badly and you get your wish. So that gives me a 9.
That gives you a 9. So you get 2 hold from junkware.
Okay. So let's see here. So that has, I can, essentially I can modify my scrap into cybernetics. So I guess I've made a cybernetic of some sort is the idea,
Yeah.
or I'm augmenting one I already have.
Correct.
and then, but, okay. And so if I have things with tags on them and I add a third, does it mean I have to take a negative, or is this separate from that?
So you, because of the way that you operate, you can choose to not require a negative tag.
Oh,
That would
okay.
be one of your options.
Oh, but I have to choose to not take one. I
Correct.
could remove an existing one.
Yeah, but that costs 2 picks to hold.
Okay. Oh, not require a negative tag. Okay, I see. So I could add the third and not require the negative. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I might start with that then. So the pieces that I have are my sleeve transmitter
Okay.
has close jamming. I think I'm going to take, I could just add 2 tags, I think, because, or no, I'll take a
Yeah.
tag to add that. So I'm going to add recording to my,
Okay.
to my sleeve thing where it can,
Absolutely.
and then, does that make any sense? And
Yeah.
then that's 1 tag. And then, that is so, it is so obscure here.
So how many tags does that device have now?
It has 2,
Okay. So it wouldn't normally require a negative tag.
right? So I can, and I will not suffer harm then when I do
Okay.
it.
So
So
what does that look like? Like, what do we see happen on screen?
I think what it is I pick up that stuff and I go, whoa, 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 whoa. This stuff is like, it's got like a really good like receiver and some crazy storage in it. And I just go, hey, I'm just gonna put this in my my arm. And so there's that kind of thing of, you know, cleaning it up, and going, oh, look at that. And you see him kind of put the thing up to his eye, and he's not like looking at it like magnification or something. You're getting like the super basic, like it's an ID that goes out to go, what is this part? You
Mhm.
know, it's just like a, you know, like when you're looking up what a plant leaf, what plant that is, that kind of
Right.
thing. They do the same thing with pieces of the cybernetic. Gets the pieces and goes, okay, yeah, this I can use. And kind of the hard part of it for him is actually fitting it into his old sleeve transmitter, which is, you know, how should we say, old and retro and but his
Yeah. It is literally junkware that you've
It
got,
is, yeah.
that you will put that in there.
Mhm.
I think as you're finishing up, as you're kind of closing up, that's when, Gabriel, you return back. Come back in. It smells like soda in here. That
I'm
sort of
still
full-
drinking it. I have like 4 glasses, different colors in it.
quick check. The security thing will tell you that Heller is the only one who's remained here.
Well, no one was locked in.
Yeah. Null at some point. You're not even sure when Null vanished.
I don't even remember Noel coming into the apartment.
Wasn't in the original contract anyway. Well, Heller, I hope you've been enjoying yourself.
It's super nice. Hey, would it be okay if I like took a shower?
Of course.
Oh, awesome.
And
Awesome.
if-
I didn't want to presume, you know.
Oh, no, please, and perhaps a steam. If you'd like, feel free to take advantage of the place for the evening.
Oh, really?
Of course. And your payment.
Oh.
And I will extend, you know, kind of into the veil, the sort of bling 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 of money appearing
The beautiful sound. Okay, that sounds great.
of 2 cred.
Oof. All right.
I do like the idea that they have a virtual representation and that they do make that bling sound when they land.
When you're being flashy and
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like when you could set the answering tone.
Mhm.
Exactly. Did the others decide to leave? I'm guessing.
Yep, they just disappeared. I guess well, I'm just the only one you can trust for sure, right? And I'll drink some more soda.
Well, it looks like it'll save me a bit. I'll move over and actually pull out probably some champagne rather than soda
Okay.
and sit down and say, well, perhaps we can enjoy a meal and see if they return. And I will say that my company was very happy with what we did.
Excellent. Excellent. So like I get some of that stuff out of that one. Is it okay if I like take it at home and figure it out?
I did not mention anything about that one.
Awesome. I didn't want to presume, so I left it as is. Okay.
Unfortunately, Riddle provided a fully intact one.
Excellent.
So, Heller, I thought we worked well together, the entire group.
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird group, but we get a great spread of skills. Yeah, don't know what I'd do without Marley though. Most common sense of all of us.
Would you mind terribly if I were to call upon you all again for a job?
I would have no problem with it. I think I could make it a priority.
Lovely. That makes me very happy.
No more than three jobs though, before we have to start worrying about whether they're gonna,
Well, that is always a concern. I will try to maintain certain distances and, of course, mix things up a bit.
Sounds good.
Perhaps dinner. Let's splurge. Would you care for a true steak?
Never had one, so yes.
And I think I'll key in for having us delivered a petite filet of our own.
Oh yeah, it is probably like a 2-ounce fillet with a lot of sides.
That's great.
Let's take our first break here. Let's take 10 and we'll come back and we'll look at your day to day. Okay.
Woo-hoo.
So Riddle, you follow this acolyte down into another section of this place.
Mhm.
There are various prayer drives spinning. They're open tops, so you can see the little sigils on them
Nice.
going. And they'll take you to the White Room. Now, obviously, it's a room that's kept apart from the Veil and from other things. What else is unique about this room?
I think its veil works through like nanoswarm matter. So as it like creates images over things, it's actually creating matter underneath them as well, in this sort of like cloud floating up digital pointillism effect.
Yeah, they have it in here because I think that's one of the more dangerous, maybe restricted kinds of veil tech. Has some issues, as you might imagine.
It's holodeck with all the safety protocols off.
Exactly. And so you want to sit down and analyze this, right?
Yeah, I got some segment of this drive, not all of it. I don't think even most of it, like those other people had grabbed a lot of chunks, but
Okay.
I want to see what this thing is. What's in it?
So let's have you lift the veil.
Sure. Um, I think we're going to continue with power, because if anywhere is the setup to do this, it's here. Which is a 13.
So you're looking through this material, this thing, and it's incomplete. I mean, you've got a chunk of this. What is very clear is that these bodies were grown with a semi-organic substance. I mean, the bodies are not made of flesh. They are made of like a kind of a organic polymer with essentially these nerve clusters running through that are used to solidify or desolidify areas, which act as kind of a muscle, like a myomar kind of thing. And so really these bodies are just carrying cases for a really sophisticated nervous system and a kind of nonsensical cyber brain. There's no brain. There's a kind of a cyber brain in these things. And the thing that weirds you out when you're looking through the data and trying to get a sense of this is it becomes increasingly clear as you're reading the things that the researchers, the people who made these things, they weren't sure what was supposed to go in them.
Like they were just contracted with specifications but not told what they were for or something?
Like it's more than that. Like it doesn't feel like that's your first suspicion, is that, oh, they're just contractors and things like that, but there's something more to it, like they didn't know what was actually going to come or be in these things, and that part of the point of this was to find out what was supposed to go in these. You may
Could I use
ask an additional follow-up if you wish.
Yeah. Was this thing completely controlled, or was it directed
Oh,
and
no,
running
there's no
under some sort of...
Yeah, there's no transmitter. It's not like anybody was remotely piloting these things at all. Whatever was in that cyber brain and that nervous system was what was running it.
Can I use my reconfigure to build a virtual construct of that cyber brain?
Yeah, I think that seems fair. Again, it's completely empty now, and you're kind of shocked by it. I mean, there's no trace or evidence or anything in there. I mean, it's back to state one, but you can build one of those. Yeah.
Okay, I wanna build that in here and have it as something to carry with me in my personal veil, because I wanna study it more, see what happens.
Yeah. So I just need you to roll reconfigure.
Oh, okay. It would be so fine.
What are you removing to create this? This is the problem of being in the white room, is you need to take something from yourself to be able to reconfigure this. You're safe and secure. That's not a risk, but
I think the white room is also filled with solitude, and I think I'm going to remove that solitude as this is. I think this is maybe not just.
So you're breaking the white room? Is that what you're telling me?
Oh yeah. Yeah. This thing is more complex to build and maintain than I thought it would, so I have to scrape out some of the structure and architecture of the white room to keep it stable.
Absolutely. Let's have you roll reconfigure and see if this is worth the cost.
Oh crap. um I'm gonna go with sad. I'm still going forward with this, but I think I realized just a moment too late what I was doing to this place that I very much like.
Mhm.
That's an 8.
On a 7 to 9, pick 2 options. The changes not noticed is not on the table for this, I will say.
I guess I won't suffer feedback, and my subconscious stays repressed.
Okay.
So I am full on imagination.
And you feel you've broken that network. And I think the white room, there's this moment when the nanites like reconfigure and the white room turns red. Kind of runs down like liquid, changes the color of the room. And when you step out, Genji is there.
Can
Yes.
I suggest something?
Sure.
Can it be purple? That's sort of the like bad side of his psyche color.
Absolutely. Deep purple. You will see Genji standing there. And he says, "What have you done?"
That did not go as I intended. I was trying to reconstruct something, and I may have reached too far into the processors of the. Well, I definitely reached too far into the processors of the white room. I can fix it. Not now. I actually have to. I can't say.
No, I do not think that you can fix it. That was a unique construct. You are going to have to track down the creator for me.
That's of course. No, that's fine. I can do that.
I want to tell you now that this is someone who very much hates architects. And it's very likely that he will try to kill you.
Cool. Good. But knowing that, I can go in with foreknowledge and protection. You don't look comforted.
I am more worried for you than I am comforted. His name is Dokuchi.
No, it'll be fine. Look, I'll track down Dokuchi. We'll get him out here to do a service call. He'll run some system updates. Give me that look again.
I only hope it is as simple as you make it out to be.
I'm really sorry. I really didn't mean to. I didn't realize what would happen. Dokuchi. Yeah, no, I got it. I'm gonna go Yep.
Says your blindness is of so many layers. Marley, let's take up with you to continue this conversation, or do you want to move on to something else? What would you like to do?
Okay, so I finally filled in a driving question.
Okay.
And I think I actually want to ask her a little bit. She has this weird obsession with a biotech company, a different one, but so I think I want to find out if she knows anything about that place that we were just at.
Okay. Let's have you roll lift the veil.
All right. I think, what am I? I think I'm just kind of fishing right now. I'm not expecting anything specific. It's just kind of like, yeah, maybe she knows something on the off chance. So I think it's peaceful. I don't think I really am, really anticipating much here, which I have a -1 in. Awesome.
Okay.
Oops. Oops. No, not -22. What the hell?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Still 10. I'm getting scared by this
10.
thing. Like, when is it
Oh,
going to decide to turn on us?
so delicious. Last night in the Hearts, or Monday night in the Hearts of Balloon game, they rolled really well early on, and then lovers were dying in arms left and right at the end. So, so she will say, "I do know. As you've been telling me this story, I've been reaching out. This company, the Cosmos Brotherhood, they're the ones who destroyed the building while you were in it. They are an odd company formed out of fragments of some other guilds some years ago, and popped up with unusually prescient biotech at that point. It's not clear whether they had stolen it from the corporations it belonged to, or if someone had come up with something striking. But part of the reason that area was flooded was let us say, an active guild on guild violence. Now you get some follow-ups if you'd like.
Okay, just additional follow-up on attendance. Okay. Yeah.
I could give you a name of a person. I could give you a location. Do you want something concrete to move towards?
Yeah, I kind of want to know what this Cosmos Brotherhood is working on now, or like what they have been working on recently.
Yeah.
And I guess the way to, okay.
She says, I know that they splintered after the events, but the team that came in I can track back and I can get you a location of where they scrambled from and likely where they're operating out of.
That would be excellent.
She says, I will speak to my contacts. I'll pull that together and I will send that to you later on.
Thank
This
you.
is gratis. Anything that you do that potentially throws monkey wrenches into the works is fine by me.
Good to know.
And we'll assume later on you will get that text
Okay.
of a location. We'll come back to that. Gabriel Thrawn.
Yes. First off, can I assume that the other two eventually will come back and I can pay them? We both return.
I like money,
Yeah.
and I need somewhere else to be.
All right, and I will thank you
Yeah.
and have paid you
Same.
and say I'd love to work with you perhaps sometime in the future and offer you a doggy bag or something. Provided y'all don't give me new information, then I will. Are we moving on to what I do for the
Yeah,
day?
let's move forward.
All right.
I mean, I think I actually would like. I think I would tell you at least that I have a reliable source tells me that it was the Cosmos Brotherhood that came in and destroyed the building while we were in there. I think that's probably all I say about it, but
Interesting. I will pass that along. Thank you very much, Marley. So I think for going out and about, I don't have a yes.
Here's the thing. We go forward a day or two. Do you want to do your quarterlies?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do the quarterlies. That'll perhaps generate something, or if I'm lucky, just make me a
The
little
roller
bit
has
higher
been
up.
so good. So
Yeah, I hadn't rolled yet. All right, let's
how
see
much
what
do you
we're
want to
betting.
invest?
I'm going to bet 2.
Okay.
So I'll mark this down to 3. I have 2 floating at the moment.
Okay.
Rolling. Ooh, that's a 7.
That is a 7. On a 7 to 9, the board demands your attention. Take a mandatory contract and gain capital invested +1 once completed, or else you lose the capital invested.
Mhm.
Let's look at the mandatory contracts. To the executive here. Oh, other playbook notes. So let's see. You will get a call down from the offices of your uncle. And he says, how are you doing, Gabriel? Things going well? Things going right?
Are we talking Claudio or?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Yeah, he's my stepfather now. Yeah. Stepfather, it is very good to hear from you.
See, you've been doing well. I've heard people whispering your names in the executive boardrooms.
I'm trying my best, sir.
Excellent. We need you to undercut and destroy an entertainer who has caused some offense.
Oh,
We know that you're very good with public relations, and so we want you to crush her career. Now, we may swoop in later on to pick her up once those pieces are smashed, but that's what we need you to do for us.
yes, a rehabilitation story is always so engaging. I'm guessing this is not simply from our business, but from above.
They have caused offense to someone in the upper echelons, and you will be our instrument of reprisal.
Send me the details. I will see
Absolutely.
that it is handled.
Her name is Eyal Darakos.
Have I heard of her?
Yeah, she's a sort of indie vid singer, kind of waifish. Think sort of maybe a Lindsay Sterling kind of character, a telepresence figure.
What in the world could she have done to cause offense?
Or are you
could be
asking me?
Yes, it could be helpful in what I have to do going forward.
I suspect that an offer was made to her and she rejected it.
What a loathsome reason.
If you don't want to take the job,
I didn't say that. I was stating how unfortunate it is.
it is. We are family, so I won't relay that to anyone else.
Thank you, stepfather. How is mother?
She's well. She asks after you, but you just don't come and visit.
So busy. I'm sure you know how it is fighting your way up.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I will look into it.
Excellent.
Assure them it will be handled.
Good. Now you do have, just to mention, to we kind of like look at the mechanics. If this is something you don't want to do, you can take the hit, but you can also go to Harvey time and keep your hands clean of this.
Yeah.
So just to put that out there, Hellerton. We come back to you've got 2 credits burning a hole in your digital pocket.
Yep.
Your back in your little hideaway.
Yes.
What are you up to?
Well, one of the things is I started cleaning out that apartment of all of the domestic goods and stuff in there. So I've got like body soap and shampoo. I mean, like the fancy stuff that smells good and everything. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go visit my family, or really what's left of my family,
Okay.
which is my little sister, because essentially we were just a bunch of kids that were raised in the same sort of apartment block. And I'm going to take those to her as a present
Okay.
because I haven't seen her in a while. And then I'm going to treat her for lunch.
And what does she do? What is her gig?
Her gig is she can sing really well, like really well. And so she gets by filling in for people who have like their guild card and everything, but can't make a thing. She will sort of, they'll be like, I can't make it, but I got you signed up. Everyone's cool with that. You just show up, but it doesn't have the official guild stuff because that costs a heap of coin to get that. Just
Off
to be
the-
able
off
to
the
do
books
the
session singer probably also does that thing where she's generating sound clips for other musicians to use and that kind of thing. has a
Her name
little
is Temple Cartesian.
Okay.
So
Oh yeah. And we know that Marley's brother is also a musician. That gives us 3 musicians in the mix now.
I know.
Interesting. It's like a triangle.
I know nothing about this triangle.
So Heather, like, she has a micro apt. It was a bigger apartment, but she's like split it into smaller, like sleep chambers for extra renters. So she's got just the most modest area and an equal area given over to like her little soundproof recording room. And she's surprised to see you.
And I say, I'm taking you to lunch. And I go, I do this, and I make the coins like show up between my fingers.
Choose your custom sound for that.
Exactly.
So she's like, yeah, let's go down to the to the banh mi shop.
Oh, yes. But wait, I got some stuff you got to stow. You can check it out later.
Okay.
And we'll lock it into her soundproof thing. And that's like all the nice scented things.
This is really nice stuff.
I know. Very best for my little sister.
She says, okay, I like, you can tell she's already figuring out how to like take it, split it, water it down to get the most use out of it, like all of that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like, which of it she can probably like, sell on a little bit,
Yeah, there'd be people would like that.
Yeah. So yeah, you go down to the puppy, and she says, so what did you do?
I just did a job. It was wet. That was the only bad thing about it.
Do I want to know further?
As corpus stuff. So we had to slog through some water to get to a place, and then, steal some other corpse stuff.
And what was her name again?
Her name is Temple Cartesian.
Okay. Can I have you roll link for me?
Sure. So that's just,
Whatever you'd like to roll it with.
oh, okay. How about power? 'Cause she's my little sister.
Okay.
Right. And I'm helping her out. I'm feeling like I got this. So it's 2d6 plus 1. Oh yeah, the dice have turned. So it's a 4.
She says, this is great. And you can tell that something's bugging her.
And I'm like, what's up? I wanted you to be like super happy just for 20 minutes, but I get it. Sometimes life isn't like that. So tell me so I can help you.
I got dinged for a job that they told me they had the clearances on, but they didn't. And I got auto copyright charged, and it kind of wiped out my account, and they're going to boot me at the end of the week from the apartment. Pardon?
How much do you need?
I need 3 cred to cover me right now. I've been trying to do. That's why I was looking at that stuff you got me. Like I might be able to sell some of it to start to make up that, but I didn't want to say that in front of you.
Like 0.25. If you were like miraculous. I mean, it's soap.
So there's some of it's body wash.
Yes, but you gotta have clean water.
True.
So it says, okay, you got your card with you?
My credit card, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll walk her to the nearest kiosk and I'll do a transfer.
And she's like, you can, no, you can't be serious.
I'm serious?
I'll try. I mean, if there's anything I can do, I'm so sorry that this happened. I should have been more careful, but the money was so good.
Yeah, that's what you gotta watch out for.
Thank you.
Yep. I made some big bozo mistakes early on and I got helped out too. So it's cool. Okay. Just passing it forward. When you are flush and one of the little ones has a bad turn of luck, help them out if you can. Okay.
Thank you.
And I'll zero out my account.
Whoop.
Well, I mean, I still got 2 creds, but in some ways I was going to spend those all on nice things. So kind of take that back a little, but we'll still have really good bond me.
Yes. Riddle, let's come back to you. Did you tell Gabriel anything about what's gone on with you, or do you keep that to yourself?
No, I don't think I told Gabriel about that. But I do think I might track down Heller and
Okay.
tell them about it.
So Heller, you've left your sister. You're kind of like, all of that came in, all of that went out, and Riddle. I mean, is this the kind of thing where you just pop up in place, or do you do a virtual chat, or what does that look like? Like in this world for you, when you want to reach out to somebody, what does that look like?
I think it's a like virtual chat thing where like an image of Riddle sort of chest up like a bust, but it like digitizes out towards the bottom, shows up near you, and he's like, hey, Heller, is this a good time?
See Heller kind of lean in and go, this isn't the adware version of you, is it?
If I was the adware version of me, I would be programmed to say that I wasn't, which I'm definitely not.
What is it?
Look, I just I need your help with looking at something that I may or may not have wildly screwed up.
Huh. Okay. Like is it like implants? Because that's like
no,
really, I'm not a
no.
doctor.
No, it's not. I mean, I don't have like a rash or this isn't like a personal area. Is sort of good. Why? No.
Okay, that's fine then. As long as it's like, cybernetics stuff,
Look,
mechanical stuff.
Can you just meet me at the server temple? I just need you to look at something.
Heller, have you ever been to the server temple before?
Like it's where the there's like a whole set of like things that you're supposed to believe in before you go there, right? Huh. No, I've never been there. I'm like, cool, what do I got to do? Do I need a card? Do I got to fill out some paperwork? I mean, virtual paperwork.
I mean, they make you take off your shoes.
Ooh. He sort of looks down and goes, well, at least those are still my feet, so I should be able to do that.
Yeah, I think there's like a guest book protocol if you want to log into it.
Okay. All right, so that's where I should meet you at. That's where you're at?
It's well, yes, yeah. I'll be if you just yeah. I mean, I won't be in there. They're sort of like look. I'll explain when you get here.
So Heller, let me ask you this. This is something we haven't really established.
Mhm.
except for the idea of there being elevated trains. But like, what is the method you use to get around town? Is it elevated trains? Is it walking? Is it a mixture? Is it flying Blade Runner cars? What do you think like, particularly for you?
Okay, so for regular people, what they would do is choose their destination, and they would essentially get several estimates up for the cost to get to their come up on their credit card, and they would pick that one, and they would go by whatever route that was. And this would be something where one of these companies would arrange whatever, seats and all that stuff, like kind of thing, and people wouldn't have to know how to do it.
Everything's corporate run Ubered.
Yeah, exactly, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But for me, I'm like, I've got to triangulate it the old way, right? So the thing is that the temple's easy in some ways, because it's like, it's a landmark. It's a landmark because there's like that big beam going up into the sky all night, right? It's one of 15 beams, but it's the white one. So yeah. I figure it out. I can get most of the way there on the tram, and then I have to switch around and maybe take one of those bicycle things that they have. Maybe I can get someone to split the cost with me. That kind of thing. It's all those sort of like pennies that you're spending. It's not like a cred that it costs. It costs these little weird tiny bitlets of it.
Centicreds.
Centicreds or something, yeah.
Riddle Heller shows up.
And he'll sort of pull you to the side and say, okay, so
wow, you really are here.
No, yeah, this is the me, not the other.
God, I thought for sure it was just gonna be okay, great. You must be hurting. What's up?
Well, look, so I was, I'm friends with Genji. He runs a temple, and we work on some things together before. And anyways, I was unpacking some data that went a little weird.
You mean the data you picked up last night?
I mean, I didn't say that.
Oh. Okay.
Well, I was in. They have a clean room, the white room. It's a separated off veil, but apparently it's its own sort of unique technology, and I sort of pulled on the wrong wires and broke it a lot. It's not good. Anyways, so Genji set me up with this whole like mystical redemption quest where I have to like seek down a hermit out in the wilderness or whatever.
Man, that is so cool. You gotta ask Marley. I bet Marley knows where the wilderness hermits are.
Oh, that's good.
Probably alligators too. I've never seen one.
Maybe, but I was wondering if maybe like you could look at the room and see if you could give me any clues about how it was made or who made it or anything to track him down or someplace to start, or you know, you could be like the wise person on the road at the beginning of the quest. It's like, you should go check out the castle.
He blinks. Oh, you mean question mark person?
Yes. Okay. Or sometimes the little rotating gem.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to ask for this place that's in the temple that's called what?
It was called the White Room, but it's an angry purple, and they're probably not going to be too happy about it at the moment. It's all very recent. Fresh wounds, you understand.
All right. So I want to go to what used to be the White Room. Okay. I will walk into the temple.
Okay.
Okay.
You got this.
And I essentially look at it, and I'm figuring that there's a map or something. I will look to see if it conveniently says the white room on something,
It does not.
then I will look for where there is nothing that is said, assuming that that emptiness signifies the white room.
So we've got two ways that we can do this.
Okay.
If you want to try and do this with full stealth and sneaking around, siphon filter kind of a way, we can do it that one way. Or if you want to talk to people, we can also do sway.
Yeah,
Which-
I think I would try that, you know?
Okay.
I think I would probably try talking. Not that I'm great at talking. And the thing is you say sway, but things speak to me. So I think that I might actually try that, if that makes
Interesting.
any sense.
Yeah. Remind us of how that move works.
Okay, so this is when I handle or examine an object of particular interest to myself. I roll. And essentially, when I roll, I can ask some questions.
Yeah. See, I
So-
think that's going to be the exact perfect move to do once you get to the white room.
Okay,
I think
All right.
we are on stage one before we come to that, though.
all right. And I think then I'll go. He said Genji was his friend. And I think maybe I will seek out this Genji person.
Okay. I think that you can find Genji. He's there in that prayer farm there, and introduce yourself and speak with him. What do you want to sway him with? What is your mood here?
I'm not going to say I feel powerful.
Okay.
This is always such a good question. I got to actually look at the wheel here. I think in some ways, and this sounds a little odd, but maybe in some ways I feel very peaceful about this, because the worst that can happen is you can kick me out on my ear, right? So I'm like, this is
absolutely.
kind of a no bad thing. I would go back and say, meh, this is just what happened, but I'm kind of going to go and I'm going to say, hey, I understand that Riddle messed something up today. It's sort of said, he asked me to take a look at it so I could help him on his quest. He said quest. Would you mind if I could take a look at what it was he messed up?
Let's have you roll piece.
Piece.
Mark one on piece and roll that.
Okay, I don't even know what my piece is.
By the way, there was somebody who missed a roll earlier. Don't forget to mark experience
I did.
when you miss a roll. Patrick, you as well. Did you mark XP?
I didn't. Yay for me.
I know. I know. Okay, so my peaceful is 1, so that's not bad.
Okay.
So I'm going to roll the dice roller that has turned terribly against us. I'm going to add 1 to whatever it gives me. Oh, hey, I rolled a 9, so that gives me a 10.
10. So he will look at you and he will say, and this is your full agenda. You have no other reason?
I'm here to assist Riddle in whatever his quest is. I have different knowledges than he does.
Then you may go in.
Thank you.
I'm going to cut there. We'll take our 5-minute break. We're going to come back with Marley and then Gabriel, okay?
I had names ready and everything.
Marley, we're going to come back to you. You've gotten some information. What do you want to do? Is that what you want to work on, or you want to work on something else?
I think I'm gonna work on that. So okay, I finally did fill in my stuff.
Okay.
And it's relevant, maybe, possibly. But the reason that Marley and Zephyr first came to the city, I mean, partly because they wanted to, but like they got, their family's blessing, and maybe they pulled together a little bit of money to send with them, and they got them in contact with Aura and all that, because they agreed to stop this problem, or try to find out at least the source of this problem, which is that once in a while something happens to the water in this swamp that is downstream from the city, and everyone assumes that, okay, it's coming from the city, and it's not like an obvious fuel spill kind of pollutant, but it causes like weird mutations in the animals and sometimes in the people. People get sick, people die, like nobody, it's very strange, and nobody can really explain an explanation for it. So yeah, Marley has had this assignment the entire time they've been here to like try to prevent that from happening again, and try to find out what it is in the first place. Marley and Zephyr both were sent to do this. Zephyr kind of gave up pretty early and went off to live his own life, and Marley kind of resents him for that, like, oh yeah, you're just doing your own thing, having a great life, and I'm still stuck trying to figure this out. But yeah, so there's this biotech lab that's been underwater for a long time, and who knows what it could have been leaking into the water, right?
I think that's fair. And Zephyr just absolutely was like, I love this city. You
Right,
take care of
yeah.
everything.
Right. And I'm like, I like it here too, but we still have this, family members who sacrificed to send us here. We gotta yeah.
That seems perfect. So what do you want to do?
Well, I want to go try to sneak around this place this location I've been told about.
So you head there, and you don't know what it's going to be like. You're kind of expecting maybe more of a kind of a biolab, or even a a bunker or something like that. But you'll be surprised at how kind of downscale it looks like from the outside. You can see that there is on the roof of this place an air car. It's clearly banged up, secondhand, and you can tell that there's a blackout spray on the windows, done that kind of one-way, making it one-way glass, and that kind of thing. So it is kind of fortified a little bit, but either it is really as kind of impoverished as it looks, or they're really leaning into their cover. So how do you want to approach this? Do you want to kind of, should we go for an assess? Like, do you want to do that first, or do you want to? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want to roll that with for kind of casing the joint? Trying to get all the very non-cyberpunk terminology out of my system here. So.
I don't think I'm scared yet.
Yet.
I mean, come on. The dice are going to turn against me sooner or later. Yeah, I think I'm more just kind of just curious. So I think it's still peaceful.
Okay.
Which again, -1 joy. And I failed. I knew it was going to happen sooner or later.
So you are moving around the outskirts of this place, and like trying to keep cover as best you can. And there is that moment, you've got your camouflage. Oh, wait, now let's stop here. Also, don't forget that, well, this is just a reminder of mechanics, kind of past that point, but before you make a roll, you can always mark a cybernetic to give yourself a +1 on something, just to remember that we've got that in play. And those reset at the end of a session.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Should probably set that.
So I think there is that moment, you know, you're using your camo cloak and you're moving around here, and there's that, you hear the crack, and then you feel the bullet impact, and you are knocked backwards by 2 harm from this slug. Do you have any armor?
No, I resist chemical damage, but I don't have regular armor.
Okay. That's the thing is, you feel that hit, you are knocked down, and it's clearly somebody up on the roof of this place with a long arm, and they fired. Isn't it a sniper rifle or silence or anything like that? So you can tell that it isn't somebody set up in a really superior position, and you definitely would have seen the flash from where they fired from, but now you're kind of like cowering under your cloak.
Yeah. Actually, is there any source of cover around?
Yeah, you could. I think with your cloak you can get yourself behind cover, but I think getting away from this position will require a little more challenging thing.
Okay. Well, I just took this move, so let's give it a shot.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, use your homeland as a medium to traverse distances in space-time. I think this cover I find is a ditch that runs into the swamp, like the, you know, I think by like swamp, I mean like the area that I'm from is not like visible from the city or anything,
Sure.
but there's this wide sort of wet, I'm almost picturing like the Everglades, like it's flowing, but it's flat and wide, it's not a river, between the city and my homeland. But like it all sort of goes there. And
Now,
I think
you don't have an anchor right now, right?
no, I do not.
Okay.
So I do not have advantage for this.
So you have a choice. Do you want to take the disadvantage, or do you want to spike out one of your motions from your?
Oh, let's spike out an emotion. Okay, one of my homeland states. Well, you know what? I am really scared right now because I just got shot.
Okay.
And one of the emotions is scared. So
Okay.
yeah, I will go ahead and spike out fear.
Yeah, you will still roll with whatever emotion, a couple that'll happen beforehand. So you roll with that with straight, with whatever you want to roll with on that viaduct move.
Okay. I mean, that's still going to be fear because there's really no possibility of anything else here. Maybe mad. But I think I'm just scared. I think this is a moment of panic. I don't even think I really know what I'm doing. I'm just like hit this ditch, dive into the water. I'm covered up with water and I'm just freaking out and suddenly find myself somewhere else, and we'll see where.
Okay.
Oh, that's another 6.
That is another 6. So I think that you will find yourself in that body of water. And like we see that movement, we see that motion, but A, it's deeper than you think. And B, you realize that you are down in the bottom of it. You are down and kind of in the muck where you've moved, and you can feel like the loam and the mud kind of grabbing, sort of suction at you underneath that water there. So I'm going to have you mark another harm. And you have a choice. You could try to do that again, or you can roll risk.
Okay, so I'm basically where I was, but at the bottom of it now.
You got away. You
Okay.
went to that you're a section of water away, but at the depths of it and kind of stuck there right this second.
I see. Okay.
I mean, you could tell it's maybe 10 feet up. It's not that far, but getting there is the problem.
Right. I have to get free of the muck at the bottom. I see. Okay. Let's see. Do I have anything? So it's just the mud holding me down, or
Yeah.
okay. Try to do it again. You know what? I'm gonna try to do it again.
Okay.
I am definitely scared now.
Okay. So which means that you roll with fear, which will be a 0 now because of the alleviate, but you'll take a tick off of fear.
Okay. I mean, it still is. Yeah, it's gonna be.
Do you
0
want to
anyway.
mark any of your cybernetics that might be helping?
Are any of my cybernetics helping? I mean, I have like, unless this is.
I would, it's a reach, but marking your ear to like figure out which way you have to go.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Or at least I can listen to see if anything is coming toward me that I might be
Yes.
scared of. Yeah. If any of those alligators that Heller was talking about. And you can hear movements in the water. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's a 9. There we go.
It's a 9. So I think you drag yourself up out of here, and you are filthy and sodden, and you're like too far away to kind of see back. You're out of the distance to be watched, but you're clear. You're clear of this. You've like had you done this before? Had you moved? I mean, you did this twice in a row. Had you done the viaduct before?
I think it's not entirely clear. I think it has happened, but it's been in such weird circumstances, or I was maybe drunk or on drugs at the time. And like, I'm not entirely like, I didn't know for sure that I could do it. Like that a thing that really happened.
I think that's fair. Yeah. And you can kind of walk back out into just covered in mud and sodden.
With a bullet wound. I'm just,
yeah.
not happy.
But you did mark XP for the failure, right?
But I will.
So we cut from that scene, that sort of silhouette of the mud Marley walking along. He's trying to keep himself together, or I'm sorry, they're trying to keep themselves together. We cut to Gabriel.
I believe we see me in my office, and there are multiple screens up, and we can see that there are like all of these things, tracking voice, tracking sound, like, trying to see if they phase. As I have called Riddle to come, if he would be so kind, and assist me with something.
So Riddle, you're there. Heller's gone in to talk to Genji, and you get that. Do you have a particular ringtone, or does it just pop up on your thing that Gabriel is contacting you, Riddle?
I think his ringtone right before he pops up in that similar sort of like ghost video style is that sound effect. That's the coin sound effect.
Ching.
Yes.
Riddle.
Hey, Gabriel, what's up?
I could use your expertise on a small project.
Riddle sort of blinks with an intense sense of deja vu. Uh, I feel like I was recently on the other side of this phone call. Sorry, what did you need help with?
Well, I hope whoever called you indeed, you were able to assist, because I need someone who can help me do a little bit of data work. I assure you, this is absolutely no danger. I just need some assistance in fixing some dates and sounds.
Sure, that's fine. Does it have to be like right now? Right now?
Oh, no, of course not. At your earliest convenience in the next day or two.
Oh, yeah, perfectly. Perfect. Just I'll come meet with you, figure out the details.
I have sent over your access to my office, and you can call a car to come pick you up.
Thanks. I'll see you soon. I just there's something I need to take care of. If you don't,
Is everything all right, Riddle?
Fine. Everything's fine. It's going fine.
Nothing you need help with.
No.
Well, good. You know you can always call on me if you are in any sort of trouble, my friend.
And I will keep that in mind, but I gotta go right now. But it's not an emergency, but I do have to go right now. All right, bye.
You good with that, Gabriel, or do you want to do something else before we let's get what Heller.
I'm willing to have skipping of time because
Yeah,
that's what I'd like to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, let's get Heller's role, and that may like project us in another direction. So Heller, you walk into this violently purple room, like a bruise that is thrumming.
Yeah, I think there's that point where I go and I step in and I sort of look back out at Genji with my eyes sort of wide. And I'm like,
I don't think Genji is in here with you,
Oh,
right?
he
He said he stayed
he-
outside.
well, that's the thing, is he wasn't in the room,
Yeah.
but I like
So-
look back out the door. Does
You
that make any
look to his
sense?
projection.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm like, my eyes get really wide. Oh my God. All right. Yeah. So
She looks at you with some judgment, or Heller, he looks at you with some judgment, Riddle, before he goes into the room.
oh no, it wasn't Riddle that I was talking about. It was Genji.
Oh, it's
that I
Genji.
was
I'm
looking
sorry.
back at.
I apologize. I
Yeah.
thought you were commuting that way.
No,
So
no.
many names, and it's so early.
I know, exactly. So that's all right. Just didn't think I was trying to do something impossible.
No.
So I think I'm gonna do this, and I'm essentially, part of the problem is it's all purple, which is a little disorienting, but I am going to look for what seems to me to be the panel or where you go to interact with this room.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try things speak. This is a ability that I have, so I'm going to use my power stat.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that.
So I'm rolling 2d6, I'm adding 1. So it gives me an 8.
Gives you an 8. So you get 2 hold.
Okay.
Essentially, it's ask 2. It's a slightly different.
Ask 2. Okay. So I'm going to ask. I think the first thing I have to ask is, are you sentient?
No, and like whoever made this, like like it could have been made sentient or even a little bit aware, the sort of minor AI programming. You've got those nanites and things in there. It's been very clearly made to not be that. It cuts the people user off from the world in a way that is really striking, and is then responsive to the person who is in the white room, like purely responsive to them.
So this is what the white room does, not what is currently taking over the white room, right?
The white room, like some of its basic functions and such, have been removed.
Interesting.
Things are getting in from the outside.
What's wrong with this then, and how might I fix it?
I think you know what's wrong with it, and I think you know how you fix it. So I think that question, I don't want to take your
Okay.
thing.
All right.
You know that you need the person who made this to
This,
fix it. It's so artisanal.
okay.
It's bespoke cyberpunk.
Interesting. Okay, then if not that, then how can I use you?
There are some really interesting things present in here. The nanites and things that it wouldn't take much for you to take those pieces, break this further, and give yourself some scrap.
Keep that in mind. If that makes any sense. Yeah, I sort of walk out of there and I'm like,
Okay.
I'm shaking my head. I'm like, yep, you're right. We have to go find the creator, I say to Genji.
I am glad to have independent confirmation of that. Perhaps that will convince Riddle.
I'm looking forward to meeting this guy.
I don't think you should be looking forward to that.
Why not?
His demeanor is unpleasant.
I'm not always my best. We'll see.
So you come out to where Riddle is at.
I go, yeah, you're gonna want to buy some gifts to give to this guy. You want him in as good a mood as possible.
Okay, so did you get a lead on him? Did you find out anything about him?
Well, what he did was absolutely bespoke. So whatever Genji told you, you better do.
Thanks. Okay. I'm gonna. You're a terrible jewel question mark person. Just want you to know that.
It's your quest. I mean, if they can't fix it, I can get some good stuff out of there.
We'll put that as a solid plan B.
Okay.
But
How
but first, I'm gonna try and unscrew my relationship with the techno monk, who's been really helpful and nice to me and is a good friend, and I feel really bad about this whole situation.
Sure.
But then after that, you can tear apart his life's work and dearest treasure to make some scraps.
He might have to take it apart himself in order to recreate it. I'm just here in case that's the choice he takes, the path that comes along, the opportunity that in fact I could do something with. So this guy, I'm figuring you should be able to track him back pretty easy because you would have been working on that for a long time.
I'll see what I can find.
If nothing else, surveillance video of this place about the time it was built should do you.
Well, thank you for looking into it.
Place is so purple. What did you do?
Look, things
didn't-
happened.
Oh my gosh, it was like my eyes felt bruised.
Let's do this. Let's do Tyler at the Tyler Riddle meeting to kind of get that thing. And I think that'll be like we'll stop there because we've got so many hooks kind of in play. We'll do that, and then we'll that'll kind of set us up for next time. Does that seem cool with everybody? Okay. So Riddle, do you show up in person? Do you send a mimeoscene? Do you send a projection? What do you do?
We develop.
I'll get confused about technology. I will take a car service like Gabriel suggested. But I think when I get to like stepping out of the car to the where am I meeting you?
You're meeting me at my penthouse.
Gotcha. So yeah, as I like step up to the building and engage the like speaker protocol, once you answer and like buzz me in, I think like a telepresence sort of projection of me comes up and is like there, like a hollow me standing with you until I actually catch up to it and physically embody it.
That's neat. Okay. Mm.
Sherry, what's one thing we see on screen that kind of tells us that this is Lux, that this building, that this penthouse is Lux?
I think it has like these balconies outside of it, and there are actually like real plants growing up it. And the thing is that they have like these force fields, you can't tell it, but there are hummingbirds like flying around in there, and they appear to be the real thing, not just like little microbots, but there are like all these flowering things on one of the balconies. So you know that at least someone has this extraordinary amount of money for that.
And Marley, how do they keep the riffraff away from this building or this section of town?
Honestly, just making it look as nice as possible does a lot. Because any place that looks that nice has to be well guarded. I don't think they even really like would have to guard it most of the time. There is, there are definitely drones around, and there are definitely sensors around that are not obvious, but most of it is accomplished by looking fancy.
Yeah, nice. It's clean, it's dry, which is unusual for the city. I like that. So Riddle, you will arrive up in Gabriel's penthouse. We saw some of this last time. If we're watching this on TV, what's a new thing, Tyler, that we're going to see in the background?
I think that because I spoke of the windows, the view, but I think that as you come up and are let in, you see the sort of the communication, where there are screens that hang just in the air, where there are all sorts of performances going on, where there's all sorts of interview shit. It's just like this dancing in the space of famous people doing things.
Nice.
It's not like I'm pretending they're here. It's like I'm watching what they're doing.
Nice.
Really, thank you so much for coming. This is but a tiny thing, but and I could think of no one who has the capabilities to do it better than you.
That all sounds like a very expensive custom job. And I do like when you have very expensive custom jobs.
Well, let's hope it is not a terribly expensive one.
Have I ever been terrible to you before?
Of course not. And terrible is not a thing we want to discuss. We're going to be enjoying the arts. If you would. And I'm going to bring you over to where I have just like dozens and dozens of musical tracks and this whole like spread of the visualization of music. I've been looking through some of my clients. I need for one of them to have been as good as, and I reach over, grab an image, and bring down A.L. Derricos. I am positive that some of my creators have been making music quite similar. I need for them to have made music very similar before she did.
That would be a suggestive timeline.
If we look through here, and what I'm wanting to do is to put an assess out where we find one of my songwriters who is plausible to have written all the things that she's been successful with, so I can have them sue and Milli Vanilli her.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that roll next time. I think we'll kind of roll into that operation. I think it'll probably be a lift of veil to kind of do the research and pull that together. But I and then another move for Riddle to go through with that. Does that sound cool?
Yeah, because I want to play with our obligation bits. I love that idea that I can burn an obligation to get a plus 10 plus on a help. So I can do the setup. You can do then your changeover. I kind of want to play with the system a little in all
Okay.
of this.
I think that's a great
I think
idea.
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we're going to stop there. We've got a lot on the table for next time. I do want to walk through the kind of end of session check-in on those three things and give out some extra XP potentially. So let's come to you, Tyler. We definitely encountered your entanglement in that you interacted with your hated rival.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So a point there. Do you think you took steps to ruin him or work towards that?
No, not yet. But
Okay.
that will be coming up with what I want with Rebel.
And do you think that, I mean, do you feel like maybe this is started like towards an answer for yourself?
I think this is a stepping to find out how that could go.
Okay. I think that's fair. Yeah. So we'll give you another point for that. So that's 2 XP from that for end of session.
Excellent. Thank you.
Riddle, we definitely brought Genji Loop on scene. So
Yeah, it definitely got entangled in that.
I don't think we did the next gen suit, but we've got to think about what that looks like, right?
Yep, and I definitely want to push on some step of that when we meet with Dokuchi. I feel like he'd be the sort of person I
That's
could
a
link into that.
Great starter. What do you think about your question?
I think so. There were sort of starting ways, but I felt like I played around with it a couple ways. I like played into the closeness that I have with Genji and how like that became problematic when I tried to pretend that I could just play with his stuff and it was fine. And then I ended up like keeping Heller sort of at arm's length and not telling him exactly what was going on and got burned by not getting what I wanted out of it. And then just as a third, like, it's totally blank and safe, and I don't see how this would ever be a problem. But I did let that foreign cyber brain into my, like, behind my firewalls, into my personal systems.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so mark an XP for that.
Cool.
Marley, definitely interact with Aura. Definitely started to investigate the plumes, like you're following on that. So that's another point. Do you think you did anything that like that maybe started to answer the question that you have?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So 2 points for that. Sherry, what about you?
I was I did not get to kind of lean into my AI or Marley this time very much. So that one definitely not. Replace the diseases cybernetics. You did get to see a little bit of him doing the sort of scrapping and refitting for himself. So that's essentially, those will be the methods that he uses. And he is always looking. And what is the life that I'm trying to preserve? I do think you have that thing of that Heller is a person who has connections, who makes connections easily, who is accustomed to, being social and open.
Yeah, we
In
saw
some
that
ways.
whole thing with your sister. I think that scene definitely plays into that. So that's 2 points for you.
Okay.
I would like to do a quick stars and wishes. Again, stars being things that you liked, wishes being things want to see more of, want to see specifically, want to see less of, that kind of thing. Next session will be the 4th session. And we'll do a little check-in at the end of that. We may take a little extra time at the end to like talk about mechanics and anything that we've seen that are points of friction. So just as a heads up on that. Tyler, can I start with you?
Yes, we doing stars and wishes?
Yeah.
Okay. Stars. I love seeing everybody go off and do their things. Lots of neat NPCs brought in, really cool story pieces from, I mean, if this was cinematic, we had guy hire folks, did a mission, then we see all the folks hired doing really awesome things. Got to see me kind of doing the, get the paid and it felt very cinematic from the move from do a mission to come back out and actually know people. That felt really cool. That just, I mean, if it was a series, that's the perfect way to do it. I love the extremely complex awfulness that is all of your lives. I'm glad I don't have that, but boy, y'all are just wonderful. The lower classes are delightful. Wishes. Wishes. I really enjoyed how everybody moved across, and I my stuff was sort of sit back. I sort of wish I could have hit at the end here kind of I have an idea to cascade my issue with this with the required thing, required contract, because that feels like it's a me, it's a lone wolf thing, and I don't want to do that. So my wish is I want to hit that, kind of play how it's done, but really the tension point for me is going to be the inner conflict of when I do it.
Okay.
I don't want to take up a shitload of our time with just my personal side mission. I
think we can definitely squeeze it down to a couple of procedural roles, followed by like looking at the inner conflict and finding out because you haven't even looked into what this person is like, that kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, that seems fair.
So yeah, that's sort of the wish to come out of that situation. And then wishes overall, I love seeing the other, well, especially like Heller and Riddle getting closer, but people kind of calling each other in. I want to see where Gabriel falls in on that as well.
Okay.
Because I don't want Gabriel to be a bad guy. And that is so easy for the executive to be. I don't think he's a bad guy for his group.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward. I wish that Gabriel would have the opportunity to get to know the other people as well.
I think that's a reasonable request. And a good base point to establish, I think, really important. So, Patrick.
I'll agree. I also loved getting to see glimpses into people's lives. I am really interested to see more of the like backroom machinations and dealings going on with Gabriel. That'll sort of tie into Wishes. But Bethany, I loved seeing Marley again, just getting like dragged through muck and dealing with the weirdnesses of the swamp. Like I love like starting to figure out how that viaduct move is going to be brought into places, and this mystery poison bloom, and like I love all the elements that you're bringing in with your story. And Sherry, I loved Heller's like I loved his interactions with Genji and just sort of his very matter of fact, sort of pragmatic, like, oh, I can just take it apart for parts afterwards. But the killer moment was you just being like, okay, well, the main problem with this investigation is how purple this room is.
Yeah.
But I guess I also have to find a control panel or something. But just like the ultimate problem was, oh, the purpleness of it all.
It was super purple.
That was just, that moment killed me. Wishes going forward. I'm looking forward into digging into this like side quest from Genji for the weird, mysterious white room maker who sounds like a fascinating person to find, and I don't know where that's gonna go, but I'm excited about it. Also, like extra secret self stars a little bit, but I know it came out of my stuff, but I really enjoyed how Genji and the prayer farm ended up spinning out.
Mhm.
That whole thing was just like super interesting on every level. Wishes, I also am very interested to see how Gabriel deals with this mandatory contract. Like I definitely want to dig into that artist, what's her name, and like humanize her some more before Gabriel has to make a decision of like how to go in the final part of this. Because I'm really curious to see where that storyline ends up going.
Nice. Bethany?
Yeah, I mean, stars to Heller for the whole, I'm gonna drink all the soda and steal all the soap. And then I'm going to steal all the soap so that I can give it as a gift to my little sister. Like that combination of like, oh, luxury stuff, this is great. And then like taking it to his sister as this like special, I'm going to treat you because I haven't seen you in a while, the thing. I thought that just revealed a whole lot of character in those two scenes. Also, I mean, stars for all of these cool to Lowell for coming up with all of these cool complications and like plot lines based on this like small amount of information, including like this little tiny bit of information I gave up that I came up with on the fly during the session. So like I guess wishes are, I want to see how those interact with each other, or like ways to bring other characters in, because like right now it's we each have a thing we're trying to do, but in most cases we haven't really involved the others in, although like Heller did get pulled into Riddle's thing a little bit. I'd like to see more of that, more entangling each other in our entanglements.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I think that's that is a good point. We'll see about crossing those streams here. Sherry?
So I just want to say that I am looking so forward to having Heller like understand that swamps aren't all fun and alligators, because he's like, thinks this all sounds pretty awesome. So and he wasn't there to see you having a rough time. So no, I'm really looking forward to these characters interacting, just like you, Bethany. I think it's great. I would love to see I would like to see Gabriel in a situation where, yeah, he's the money man most of the time, but if he needs something personal and he calls us in, that's when we get to see who Gabriel really is. And that's what I think would be fun, is something where it's something that's critical to him personally, not just for success or more money. I love Riddle, who gets himself into all the jams, and you even see the jams coming. Everyone does except for Riddle. And then when he talks to you about them, he doesn't give you any hint about what's going on. So it can do. It is the perpetual, I don't know, like that ring of water spitting down the drain. There's just an inevitability to the Riddle power that I really, really enjoy. And I do love Gabriel so much because he's been so, he wants everyone to like feel like they've done a good thing, that they're part of the team, that we're doing it all good. And it's just like, I'm like, is he really corporate? This is but so that's why I had Heller be like, yeah, maybe 3-4 times, and then we got to start worrying about getting gacked. Okay, so I just really enjoy the world building that we're doing in these characters. So it's good stuff. Yeah, I'm hoping to get dragged into everything. So
Is that your wish?
yeah, everything. Yeah, because I do think that is a thing. My question is, what is the life I'm trying to preserve? So you can't answer that unless you live a lot of life.
I think that's a fair assessment. I'm going to stop the recording.